Welcome to Open Lotus Wisdom. My name is Johnny. I've been reading these cards for over 20 years, and I tell you, they're not tarot. They're their own system. A bit more literal, a lot more grounded, and very practical for everyday life. Today's reading is on health and wellness. So let's transition to the cards, set our focus and our intention, and see what they have to say. I will be using the 9-card grid. It works well. So health and wellness, setting the intention. Beautiful. We are going to read each row, each column, and then diagonally. At the end, we'll summarize. So to begin with, let's look at row 1, which is about the past and what's on your mind, what you're aware of. So we have the tree in the past, which is referring to growth, health, vitality. Then we have the whip, which is repeating tension or quarrels. Our dear fox here is cunning or perhaps a little bit of dishonesty or someone not telling the whole truth. So in this row, we're looking possibly at, growth and vitality met with like a lot of repeated tension. It could actually be complicated by dishonesty. And that doesn't mean it's from somebody else. Like a lot of times we have to ask ourselves if we're being honest with ourselves. So let's move on to row 2. Row 2, the querent is you, the person receiving the reading. And we have the bear. The bear is representing strength, boldness, something significant. He's next to the present, which is the lily. And the lily and the bear actually have a fixed meaning of a legal matter. Not sure what that means, but that's what it is together. Then we have the mouse in the challenge. Oh, the little mousy. So the mouse can represent something eroding or quietly draining away. I think that's all I'll say about that one in this. Below here on the last row, below is like the subconscious. You're not really aware of it, but it's in your head. So we have the flowers or bouquet, which is happiness, a gift. It's sort of like welcoming the return of joy. The future influence here is the stork. Well, the stork is change or movement, something shifting or underway. The dog next to it is the loyal friend or reliable support. So perhaps what we're seeing here is happiness and a return of joy in your life. And it's all backed by this something, a loyal person or a reliable presence. Okay, let's go to column 1, tree. Your tree is the growth, health, vitality, something strengthening over time. And again, the bear is strength, boldness, something significant. And below we have the flowers or bouquet, which is our happiness or return of joy. It could be a gift, actually, too. All right. In the middle column, I will say that growth and vitality are the key points in that column. And it's actually blooming. You're into happiness, joy. Column 2 with the whip in the past influence is that repeated tension, conflict, quarrels. This could all be going on in your head. It doesn't mean you're having them with somebody else, right? And then we have the lily, which actually does represent illness. And in this wellness, health and wellness, it's our center card. The stork, which is in our future influence, is change or movement, that shift happening. So here we have the repeated type tensions tied to the illness are now shifting. Something's happening. Column 3, above, this is your conscious. You're conscious of. There's something that doesn't feel honest or not truthful. The challenge, our little mouse here, is right next to the dog. So let's see. The mouse and the dog actually work together in a fixed type position. So we could be looking here at a friendship that has been kind of costly or one-sided, perhaps, in this reading. So there could be some dishonesty feeding into that relationship or friendship that's costing you. All right, let's look at our diagonal. We're going to go tree, lily, and dog. So again, we have the tree and the lily, another fixed type of card placement, which is a good one. It represents recovery from illness. And then we have the dog, which is that reliable support. So kind of makes sense. If you have your recovery from illness, usually you're going to have some pretty good reliable support that is helping to lift you through that. So that does make perfect sense. Okay, we're going to go the other way down through the what's on your mind, the present, and what's kind of tucked away in your mind. So the fox, remember, is the cunning or dishonesty, perhaps something out there not telling the whole truth, be that you to yourself or someone externally. This is representing illness, and below is that return to joy with the flowers or bouquet. So even though there may be some dishonesty around the illness, the return to joy will come. Let's sum this up. This reading is directly speaking to health. And it does have a real illness sitting underneath this repeating tension, tangled up with legal or paperwork matters, which could be your insurance, disability, medical bills, and all of that is draining resources along with it. There's also a friendship in the mix that costs more than it's actually giving, and something isn't being said honestly there. But the same cards naming the illness also point straight at recovery. And that recovery isn't happening alone. It's backed by real growth and a loyal, dependable person standing with it. Look at this one where the cards actually do name the illness. No doubting that. But recovery is sitting right next to it. And you're not carrying it solo. The bigger drain might be a person or a piece of paperwork that isn't being straight with you. So remember, we mentioned something legal maybe, and medical always will create tension with all the paperwork. I'll leave you with a reflective question from this reading. What would it look like to let the support that's already actually with you carry some of this? Remember, always be kind to yourself with gratitude. If you found this reading meant something to you, subscribing helps, or share it with someone who might need it today. Thank you for joining me at Open Lotus Wisdom, and I'll see you in the next reading.